founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, his birthday was yesterday, and he would have been 130. So he passed in 1960, but even though he did his writing, this Science of Mind and Spirit work, this compilation of the truths from all faiths, even though he did it long ago, it is still relevant for us today. These are ageless truths that we get to work with and incorporate into our lives. So what do you say? We say, happy birthday, Ernest? Happy birthday, Ernest. And there he is, right back there, the picture. Yeah, So January is Back to Basics month. 2 weeks ago, we started out with the thing itself. Now, the thing itself is one of the names that Ernest Holmes, Dr. Ernest Holmes, used for the Supreme Being, this divine force, God, Spirit. He called it by so many names, knowing that it absolutely does not matter what we call it. It is the energy that is behind everything. It is the life that lives us. It is the absolute force, power behind everything. We wouldn't be here if it hadn't decided to live as each of us. And so that's the thing itself. Now, it produces everything, it is everything, and because of it, we are spiritual beings. We are connected to it, we are one with it. All that Spirit has is ours to call upon and use. And because we are spiritual beings, we get to use these tools because there are laws in the universe. Now, there are physical laws and there are spiritual laws. And as we use them, we get to make our lives better. So that's kind of the thing itself. Now, today's topic is the way it works. The thing itself works by living, moving, and having its being in, through, and as each of us, as me, as you. The thing itself works by taking our thoughts, our beliefs, what we think about, what we dwell on, and turning that into the experiences of our lives. We are powerful, powerful creators, for we co-create with the divine. Ernest Holmes said, "We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. Thoughts become things." Now, it works whether we're aware of it or not. Just like all laws, I mean, if you're stopped for speeding, "Oh, officer, I really didn't know that it was a 35-mile zone and I was going 65. You know, it doesn't matter whether you know the law or not. It works, and we have to comply with it. It works by creating for us what we think about, what we expect, because sometimes what we expect to happen is just creating that, and we don't necessarily plan on that, because some of the things that we expect to happen, say in the next 4 years, some of the things that people are expecting to happen, they're creating just by that thought. Yes. So everything first starts as an idea, as a thought, as a plan. If you want to build a shed, what do? First, you have an idea. First, you have the idea to build it. Oh, geez, I need someplace to put the lawnmower, so I'm going to build a shed. Then you need a plan. You have to know what it's going to look like. And then you start gathering your materials, of course, and go on from there. This is a time of year, I don't know, are there any other gardeners? Oh yeah, there's some other gardeners here, right. And the seed catalogs show up. The seed catalogs that have all of these pictures of luscious vegetables like tomatoes. And so we're going to use that analogy of seeds, the seed, the soil, and the plant, which is a very common analogy that's used in the science of mind and spirit. So first we see a packet of seeds. Now, the seed contains all of the information that's needed to create the plant that creates the fruit. But if you cut a seed open, if you cut a tomato seed open, you don't see little tomatoes in there. And yet, there, in some invisible form, the information is contained. Now, all by itself, just the information, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to germinate. It's not going to grow. And so the soil is needed. And when we can even look at our science of mind symbol, the first half is the idea or spirit. The next part is the law, which relates to the soil. It has all the know-how and all the substance to seemingly magically turn this little seed into a plant. The soil can't do it alone. The seed can't do it alone. But together, they work to create this tomato plant. And then, of course, we get the luscious tomato plant. And, you know, this time of year, I like to kind of look at the pictures and dream about that tomato juice running down my chin and how good it tastes. So the information is contained within the seed, but what we call the law, that universal power that we put our thoughts into, that is what makes things happen, turns thoughts into things. Seed, soil, and plant. This is really tippy. I'm not sure what's happening. Now, there's a law in the universe that says, as you sow, so shall you reap. Now, this works, of course, with seeds. We know that if we plant a tomato seed, we're going to get a tomato plant. If we plant a rutabaga seed, we're going to get rutabagas. I've never planted rutabagas, but, you know, I know that that's the way it works. And it's also true of our thoughts, of the things that we think about. Now, we can't have thoughts all day of anger and resentment and expect to lead a joyful life. We can't complain about our country going to hell in a handbasket because of this presidential election and think that we are not part of the problem. Our thoughts are powerful. Our thoughts and beliefs are the seeds that we plant in the universal mind. And that universal mind, that powerhouse of creativity, is what brings everything into manifestation for us. And we don't know exactly how that happens. Just like we don't know exactly how the seed and the soil interact to make a plant. But we don't need to know how. If we have our vision, if we have our idea, and if we follow all the guidance that we're given, then it can be produced. We can see in our lives what we have dreamed about. And it works every time. Now, not every little thought. It's not that, oh no, I thought that this was not going to work out well. One little thought is not going to do it. It is the preponderance of our thought. It's kind of the whole mood of what we are thinking and what we are putting into the universe and what we are acting on. Because the universe responds to what we're really feeling. I mean, there are thoughts, but if they have feeling behind them, if they have that gusto stuff, then the law says, okay, that's important. We're going to produce that. Wow, she really wants this to happen. I'm going to produce that. Because the universe knows how to say yes. So if I'm thinking over and over again, There's so much love in my life. I am loved and loving. If I hang out in that space, more love will show up in my life, even more, and then even more. Because the universe has said yes. I said I'm loved and loving, and the universe said yes. Now, at the same time, if I say over and over and think over and over, I need money, I need money, oh boy, I really need money, the universe is going to say, yes, you need money. I will produce for you situations and circumstances that make sure that you keep needing money. Because the universe only says yes to our thoughts, our deep beliefs, and what we choose to act on. And on the other hand, if I dwell in that place, if I do the affirmations and know that all of my needs are met, if I can get myself to that place of feeling, and it can happen through gratitude, of course, that all of my needs are met, then it happens in some magical, magical ways. But not if the preponderance is that they're not being met. We have to hang out in that place. We have to watch our thoughts, because, thoughts just happen. It's not that we don't plan every thought we're going to have. Is there anybody here who plans every thought you're going to have? I mean, they just pop into our head. But if we watch our thoughts, then we can say, no, that's not what I believe. What I really believe is this, that I am loved, that I'm abundant, that I am blessed in so many ways. We use affirmations for that, of course, and the magic is not in just saying the affirmations, but in believing them and feeling them. Feeling as if you were loved. Sidney Mudwed said, our subconscious minds have no sense of humor, play no jokes, and cannot tell the difference between reality and an imagined thought or image. What we continually think about eventually will manifest in our lives. And Dale Carnegie said, remember, happiness doesn't depend on who you are or what you have. It depends solely on what you think. Now, one of the reasons that thoughts become things is that we act on our thoughts. We act on what we believe. That's what we base our choices on. So there's a story about that. There's a man who sold hot dogs, and he loved people, and he sold a lot of hot dogs. But he didn't hear very well, so he didn't listen to the news. He didn't see very well, so he didn't watch television, and he didn't really pay attention to what was going on in the world. But he was really into working with people, selling them their hot dogs, connecting with them as he did that, and he was successful. He was really successful. So successful that he started ordering more stuff, getting a new stove, increasing his ability, and of course his business just kept increasing. And then he had a son who was a recent graduate from college, and because Dad had so much business, he said, come and work with me. And so the son did. And after a short while, something happened, and the son said, Dad, haven't you heard about the big recession that's coming? Haven't you heard that things are really bad internationally, and on a domestic level they are even worse? It's going to get bad, Dad, and we need to plan for it. And so the old guy, the dad, the next time he ordered, he didn't order as much. And he wasn't as enthusiastic. And he forgot to put his sign out. And over time, less and less people came for hot dogs. After a while, things got pretty bad. And the dad said to the son, "Son, you were right. You and your college degree, you knew that things were going to get bad. And I'm so glad you warned me ahead of time." Okay, now, I would just put money on the fact that without that warning, Dad's business would have continued to thrive. Yes. He would have continued to enjoy selling hot dogs to the great people that stopped. What do you think? Yes. Yeah. Because we act on what we believe. Wow, that clock says it's 7 o'clock. That is so interesting. Yeah.
Don't believe it.
Don't
right. Believe it.
Right. Don't believe it. I don't believe it. Right. So back to our analogy. The seed is the idea containing the information. The soil is the creative process that makes it so. And the result, of course, that we get in our lives is what we have put into it, what we have thought about it, what we have believed. We'll talk more about next week about what it does and how to use it. So the way this thing works, this God essence, this life thing, this creative power, is that it works as you and as me. We are co-creators with the divine. The way it works is that it lives, moves, and has its being through each of us. It's what we are made of. It's the wellspring of our joy. It's the source of our brilliant ideas. It's where our guidance comes from. Oh, and it's the love that we get to express. It's the love that we feel for our lovers, for our friends, for our pets, for our parents, kids, grandkids. It is the love that we get to express in the world and that we get to be part of, that we get to circulate. So it expresses as each of us, and it expresses differently in each of us. We have our own gifts, we have our own talents, we have our own ways of looking at the world, our own ways of expressing our gifts. And that is what is really important. There are different things that bring each of us joy, different dreams that make us come alive, different gifts. Now, in this time where peace is so needed in our country and in our world, are you willing to shine your light? Are you willing to use your gifts to make this world a better place? Jen, I believe you've got a song about that.
It's a challenge for me because I was so into the story and the hot dogs that I wasn't thinking about the song coming up.
Okay.
But I know what it is.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Hot dog song?
Lately I've been noticing how much I've been blessed with people to love, some peace of mind and happiness. It makes me want to pass along this love I've received as a way of giving thanks for what's been given to me. I've got a strong heart, I've got a strong love, and I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I used to have a lust for more that bordered on greed, till I looked around and saw that I have more than I need. I thought I had to have it all before I could share, I realized what's mine to give has always been there. I got a strong heart. I got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Use the gifts that you possess. The world would be sad and silent if no birds sang except the very best.
So are you willing to use the gifts you've been given to make the world a better place to live in? Now, we've got some interesting things going on in our country. With this weekend of inauguration, I believe this is the first time in my life, the first time in history, I believe, where actual impeachment proceedings have been started at the same time as inauguration. And what we know is that there are millions of people marching and rallying around the world to express their support for some things and to express also their discontent. And so we're living in a time when our peace is needed. We are living in a time when we are the ones we've been waiting for, maybe. I mean, what if the gifts that you have are the ones that can make a difference, the ones that can help bring unity, the ones that can help bring peace, the ones that can help bring equality for all? What if it is your voice? Whatever your political persuasion is, this is not about politics. This is about us using what we have been given to make the world a better place to live in. Ernest Holmes wrote this: "It would be wonderful indeed if a group of persons should arrive on earth who were for something and against nothing. Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, an exalted human being. Find me someone who has given all that he has in love, and I will have found the lover of my soul, because he will have revealed to me the nature of God and proved to me the possibility of all human souls." That's what religious science stands for. So are you willing to use the gifts you've been given, including the power of your thought? Including the power of your thought to make your life and the world a better place to live in? As practitioners, stand for me. Let's take that into prayer. Stand with me. I'm grateful, grateful, grateful to remember that there is this one power, the thing itself, the divine essence, the creativity that lives, moves, and breathes into it as each of us. I am not all of God, but all of me is made of Godness. You are not all of God, but all of you is made of Godness. We are here as co-creators, provided with everything that is needed for our joy, for our abundance, for our health, for our peace. And so what I claim is that each of us is open to the guidance, is reminded of our gifts in sweet and delightful ways, is encouraged in in positive and good feeling ways, to explore our gifts, to open to our gifts, to use our gifts. And so what I know is that as we move into this week, as we move through this week, we are blessed. All that we need is given. The encouragement, the support, the knowing, the feeling that each of us is here as a blessing on the planet. Each of us is here as a blessing on the planet. And so I'm grateful, grateful, grateful that we simply can step into this, that we can accept, that we can live from that place, that we can monitor our thoughts, using them to create what it is we want to see and experience for ourselves and the world. And so in this place of gratitude, I simply release this into the law that makes it so, knowing that it is done for our highest good and for the highest good of everyone with whom we encounter. I'm grateful, knowing that it is good, it is done, and so it is.
I've got a strong heart. You know what? That's made so that you could repeat after me should you feel like it. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love. I've got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Your turn. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Let's do it one more time. I've got a strong